Hello everyone and welcome to the part 2 of my 46 days speedrun of the mysterious island. So I double checked and it's fun fact. Part 1 covered the same number of days as in my first playthrough. Kind of a fun coincidence. And I compared some of the interest points compared to my first playthrough, and in general it's at least 1 week better from the looks of it, maybe even more than 1 week already by this point. Although I reached blue player earlier in my first playthrough, but that's only because I came to him first. So. And I captured blue capital on first day of the 4th week in my first playthrough, but I only came to brown a bit later than now, and at this point I already took care of the brown player, and most importantly I already finished the dragon quest, so I come to blue with all of my army, and I'm gonna take blue tent right away. There is no doubt about it. In the previous part I hired Cult in the tower town to help Gunnar with speed, with maximum speed as he can have at his level, and very fortunately, by the way, he gained expert pathfinding the very last moment before he came to the snows, so that's extremely helpful. And he will be able to reach the blue capital next day very nicely. And as I mentioned in the previous part, I need to deal with the blue player actually, so I can't just sweep around and take the tent and then go away, because I want to make sure that the blue player doesn't come to the brown, to the stronghold town I mentioned in the part 1. So at this point my goal is, so I want to boost up my secondary unit heroes a little bit, primarily in terms of logistics and pathfinding. There is a very short downtime when I don't need them to build any sort of a chain. Also, unfortunately for me, blue player did not open the tent, so I will have to wait. In a way, I would not be passive while I'm waiting, but it will introduce some logistical challenges, let's say, but totally solvable challenges. Also, I got a very nice gift from the blue player at this point, and the gift is that it actually opened one of its portals, the portal that leads to the Bulwark town is actually already opened, which is nice because blue player did not visit the tent yet, so it's kind of a nice gesture. Thank you very much, buddy. But to be honest, I don't mean to be picky, but you should have already also opened the tent for me. So I did buy the pendant of dispassion there, in case I don't find one before the Night King fight. And I already have the master of coin. I don't remember what's his name here. Okay, that's basically an economy hero. And I got lucky with his level ups as well, actually. It is actually even baffling how lucky I got with level ups in this playthrough. And so these heroes prepare to go to the... or even not prepare. As you can see, Ayden already goes there. Okay, he goes to learn magic, that's true. Yeah, so he learns magic, but I don't think he needs to do anything else here. And I want to move all of my secondary heroes, and Ayden for now is a secondary hero, like for some time at least. Okay, I remember what I did with Ayden here. So I moved him to learn magic, and most importantly, actually, it's not just resurrection, it was to get chain lightning. And I will use him to take the lighthouse back at home. But everyone else, I'm moving to this tower to start preparing chains for when I will be advancing after I take the tent. And since I have like at least 3 more days, I should obviously keep pushing, right? I shouldn't be waiting, so that will be a potentially very long chain. If not for the open portal, however. Open portal will help me. Although I do have resources to open it. I think blue portals cost crystals, if I'm not mistaken. So I have crystals. Still, it's very fortunate that blue saved me the resources here. And what I did here is actually, I think it's a mistake. So I built up a few of my towns. The intent is to build city halls across all of them, eventually. And the problem is I don't have any money to do that, actually. Funny enough. So that's basically the main blue hero. A very big army, but he was kind of going around most of the time, wasting turns. Kind of wasn't particularly efficient, let's say. Obviously, it would not matter if this hero would have a bigger army. At this point, I would have very little problem dealing with him. But obviously, the fact that I got access to a number of its titans is actually pretty nice. Okay. So here I think, if I'm not mistaken, I skipped Earth Magic. I may have missed it. I missed the actual level up, so maybe I did pick Earth Magic, but it seemed like I skipped it, and it's an example of actually following, let's say, a chosen development tree. I mentioned before that I kind of studied basically available level ups for my heroes before I started this game, and well, to get a desired build on Ayden, I actually need to skip Earth Magic at this point. Which is counterintuitive, right? You normally want to get Earth Magic as soon as possible. So I want to use Dessa to fight these two heroes. Also, Torosar is probably gonna be scared of Dessa if he has these Scorpicors. Maybe not, but it looks like it should be. So I will remove Scorpicors from Dessa, give them to some weak hero. Now this way AI will quite reasonably assume that it will be able to beat every hero I have. It would be able to beat Dessa that has no army, and it would definitely be able to beat a weak hero with whatever I give it. So basically I want to be able to resurrect everything and also kill him before he leaves. So that's how I did it. So ideally I want this hero to go towards my heroes. It is fine if he attacks a hero that I don't need here. It could be like a decent bait. It could be a required bait actually. He might not come to me if he doesn't get to kill anybody. Well, and if he doesn't come there, it's a little bit of an annoying way to continue. He would be going maybe to this town, and then kind of I would have to live with him basically. Doesn't work for me. Gurnison will be waiting next to the garrison, to the tent, so that he would be able to clear the area and, most importantly, visit the tent the same day I defeat the garrison. Gunnar will be my bait for this Photorosar. Also, in lead up to the garrison fight, I think it's reasonable to talk a little bit about my plans for this. So, as I mentioned, I need to develop at least 3 of my heroes to levels 20 and up, and then I want to have some other heroes, ideally at level 16 and up. And it's kind of pretty difficult to find leveling opportunities here. There are not many big fights, for example, but garrisons that guard tents are actually a very good leveling opportunities. So that's my plan, at least, to use these garrisons to level some of the key heroes. So for the most part, I'm not concerned about developing Dessa and Gunnar, for now at least. They do need to be developed pretty high, however, but I don't intend to be using them to take out all 5 garrisons at least, okay? And so I will be using garrisons to do the thing. Blue garrison I will clear with Ayden. It's gonna give him a nice experience boost. Okay, I pass Harpies ahead. I will use Harpies for one of the fights ahead. With Gunnar, to develop Gunnar a little bit. There is a pretty easy fight that gives decent experience not far from here. And there we go, actually kind of not really perfect, but since Blue defeated Gunnar, he's now here in this tavern. His movement points probably are a little bit lower than they would be if I retreated against something. Because he had troglodyte in the beginning of this turn. Damacon has a Spirit of Oppression artifact, which is very important. I want to pass it to Gunnar there. Also, it's day 6, so I wanna get Ayden into position to take out the garrison. And my idea is to basically, on day 1 of the month, second month, I will take the garrison and then shuttle army to the front, as far as I can get my heroes anyway, by that point. Very fortunate development for Gunnar. Actually got offered wisdom on level 10, which is quite a rarity for an overlord. Kind of actually helped me salvage his build at this point. I didn't talk about specific builds for my heroes yet, but I think I will explain them as they are developed, as they get their skills in place. Okay, that's a mistake. I actually will not be hiring a single Minotaur in this game. Initially I thought that I will add the Minotaurs to my to some hero who's gonna go to the bloodbath at one point, but it didn't work out. Basically I didn't have any money to spare. As you can see, I have like a decent number of towns actually, and I still have very little in terms of money. And I spend it primarily on rehiring heroes. Now, Damacon actually gets to develop both expert pathfinding and expert logistics in what experience he was given. It's perfect, actually. It makes him a perfect assistant hero. That's gonna be a very difficult fight. Pretty funny. Okay, so I passed the period of oppression. And Dessa will be waiting here next to the gate. There is a last remaining blue hero. There's some basic army, like it probably already freed the mammoth specialist, so it has like a few mammoths and some change. So that's the fight I was talking about, the easy experience. With Spirit of Oppression, it's basically something very easy. +1 speed helps here, for sure. If it wasn't the +1 speed, I would have to actually find a little bit different pattern around this lake. So basically, if your speed is less than double the enemy you kite this way, you need some sort of an obstacle that will be making this unit, the chasing unit, waste like 1 or maybe 2 steps. Pretty solid experience, actually. Pretty close to what garrison would give. And we nicely end the turn on a watering hole. I'm not concerned about blue hero attacking Gunnar. He has too weak an army to actually be confident enough to do that. I would obviously prefer it not to attack me. Got just a couple of titans. Titans will be quite useful. Rashko will take the army next day, and obviously we'll chain it through Simka, through Lorelei, towards Dessa. And Dessa and Gunnar are already in a position, in a far enough forward position to actually split right away. So I will send Dessa to the green player and Gunnar to the teal player. Okay, finally, month 1 finished. So far, pretty good progress. And if I mentioned in the part 1 that there were some maybe opportunities to speed it up, like especially when I was chaining my units from brown player to dragons. And after thinking about it, I mean, I don't know. I mean, one day, like saving one day may be possible, counting all of that, but realistically I don't think it's it can save more. Just too much logistics for secondary heroes to actually pull it off. I moved Titans forward so that one of the gremlins would hit them. Unless I did this, they would actually shoot at the same Coatl and kill it. I don't like that. And I will use Coatls to block gremlins next turn. And now I kill trolls. So splitting satyrs is a very sensible thing. In these garrisons, they help me to deal with helping units a little bit better, like with native defenders. And obviously it makes it a little bit more difficult to deal with the biggest stack, which was trolls in this case. And in some other garrisons it would be satyrs, it would be nomads, or it could also be mummies. But I think it's a bit more useful, the way I did it. Okay, so Ayden. Now we'll be developing him as a ballistics expert. And also you can see I picked learning there. So I mentioned that Ayden is going to be built specifically to counter, to deal with the Night King. And Night King fight. In the Night King fight, I need to destroy my ballista, or I mean catapult. And in general, you can do that with a meteor shower or something like that. But given that I probably won't have a lot of spell power, it's probably gonna take at least 2 turns to do that. So it's a bit of a nuisance, and ideally I would want to cast Forgetfulness turn 1. So having ballistics for a hero whom I build in to specifically counter these enemies is absolutely meaningful. I also took learning, which is something I actually took away from Hugh Tran, the current record holder. I thought it was a brilliant idea, actually, and I know it probably sounds stupid, but I generally do not think that learning is a good skill. Now, it is great when you play like a random map in multiplayer or whatever. Yes, this game is gonna end like within a month, likely, right? So you would not have a lot of time to build your hero, basically, to make it some sort of an endgame monster, let's say. But I generally play like big custom maps, so not having a skill slot for some useful skill is kind of a big problem, in my opinion. Which is why I don't really value learning that much. And if you take away the fact that learning gives you a nice experience boost early on, it gives you some primary skills, additional primary skills, kind of actually just takes away a skill slot from you in the end game. And that's why I generally don't like it. But that's a speedrun, and that's a map that doesn't really shower you with fat experience fights. So as you could see, I took out the garrison, and basically I didn't get that much from it. It was a small garrison in comparison to others, though. So I did get around 10 levels from 5 to 15, or around that. And that's not very much. So learning will help me to get just a little bit more from these fights and from other fights as well. Speedrun in specifically, I don't remember which hero, or maybe multiple heroes, he gave this skill to. I think it was given to a logistics specialist, and I think it's actually a wonderful idea. Even like the fact that if you develop learning to an expert level, you're gonna have at least 3 more levels on your hero. And with logistics specialist, it means that he has like just a little bit more movement. And so that's basically why I wanted I don't think Dessa gets to learn to get learning, or maybe I don't remember actually. Maybe Dessa also gets the learning at some point. Okay. Anyway, learning was kind of one of my desired skills for almost all of my heroes. Funny enough, actually, because yeah, as I said, I actually generally don't really value this skill that highly. And obviously it's totally fair to value different skills differently for different formats. Like, I don't think that anyone can argue that it's not a great skill for a large format map that will last months, for example, many months. And I won't argue that learning is a nice skill for a short format map. Or, like in this case, a short format playthrough, you could say, because it's a pretty large map, as you can tell. But since that's a speedrun, naturally I don't have a lot of time to spend on sightseeing, so to say. I would have to be somewhat more efficient, and I would not have a lot of time to fully develop my heroes without some assistance. Intelligence is a nice skill for the end game. In the end game, you get to do kind of almost infinite turns, and they are basically powered by your ability to town portal multiple times during the day. And well, intelligence just gives you a little bit more mana to work with, basically, so you can do like a few extra laps with town portal. Those turns obviously are not infinite, but you can do a lot. Okay, I did basically the same thing in my first playthrough, so it's not something new, but I have a huge improvement for the end game still. Using hermit checks for secondary heroes, it's actually a very nice objective for them. It does not require them to fight, really. So that's learning for Gunnar. Exactly what I talked about. So hermit checks are a nice objective because basically you don't have to fight with your secondaries, and since there are a couple of witch huts that give you logistics and pathfinding, you actually can develop fairly nicely your secondaries. And the best ones in general are level 6 specialists, I think, because they already have one of these two skills from the start. And second, I would say that some basic heroes that have at least one of these skills, it would help you, definitely. If a hero has two other skills, it's a little bit more difficult to actually level up logistics and pathfinding. So Ayden will go and take this opportunity to visit a library here. Very nice to have dwellings like this, like troll dwelling. So I would not recommend to take any dwellings. This way you get to have a building, or a way to move your heroes to other places. And I'm preparing Utron, or Elmore, for Elmore was remained after Utron, so preparing for the big thing next day. But what you saw there is a part of an answer for my question in the previous part, when I asked you why was it important for me, why was that place important for me, and why was it important that brown is dead and also blue doesn't come there. So if you didn't guess it, basically it was your last hint. This day it's gonna be, you'll see the answer very shortly. I brought some elementals and gargoyles here to basically soak up arrow damage. Those vampires. I didn't see them. Okay, thanks to the Teal player, it built the phoenixes. So Elmore spent a night on the watering hole there, and now, because this garrison was not defeated, he has a very short way to poor man's town portal somewhere else, in this case this town, and it gives him around 700 to 800 movement points extra these days, so that's pretty meaningful actually. And that's your answer, why this town is so important and why it is very, very important that no one comes there. Because if Blue came there, Blue would have taken out the garrison and would not graciously leave something there, so I would not have this opportunity. Maybe if you're lucky, the Blue would leave like some goats next to the garrison, but that's still a less useful option. And actually, there is a point in this playthrough, I actually need these 800 movement points very much, so kind of not just some superficial desire, I guess, just a pretty important thing actually overall. And Elmore is gonna take out the second garrison. This one. So I will be using Elmore to get to the Nautilus and then to take Zeron's town. Basically to open volcano. And I brought Coatl here to take these first two shots to make sure that my satyrs do not get destroyed, and I need 4 stacks of meat here anyway. Elmer is not strong, so I would need 2 retaliations removed from mummies. Okay, basically these fights you want to separate the big stack from others and smash it when you can. Okay, that's good enough. Also very nice to have learning on him, because it brought him exactly to level 16, which is my requirement for secondary heroes. I mean, not requirement, but kind of desired level. So that's very nice as well. And that's another tent, so I have 2 tents already. Except, I mean, not counting mine, obviously. I mean, I did not visit the light blue tent yet, but I already took care of the garrison, so it's basically a question of a very short period of time. Dessa's adventures so far are not as spectacular. Unfortunately, he doesn't reach the town, and there was no way to speed him up, unfortunately. But also, Dessa should not have any trouble dealing with the green player here. And Gurnison will bring halflings and armadillos to another factory town. I could have opened the portal, maybe. Maybe I could have. But I really don't want to be spending resources where I don't have to. Also, in the version I played first time, there was an event in the volcano that took away resources. It got removed in this version, so actually I didn't know that back then. Maybe it was why I was a little bit too careful to spend resources. Maybe if I knew that it was removed, I would actually oh, maybe I would have opened the portal there. So I put Gunnar outside. There is a Teal hero very close, actually, and he has an army, so he doesn't attack me here. But I put Ayden there with a Quattle and 5 elementals, hoping that he could defend against this hero. Not sure if he could actually. So. Fortunately, he did not attack. That's actually one takeaway. Yeah, so he has decent army, decent enough to actually be scary for just a single Quattle and 5 elementals. But I mean, Ayden has magic, so that basically was my hope there. Like some juicy chain lightning hits. Level 16 for Damakon is 2 level ups away. He's level 13, but he's gonna get learning offered in one of those level ups, so it's gonna give him 3 levels actually. And believe it or not, actually Elmore, this very moment, is gonna leave my home and go towards Nautilus already. That's pretty early. He doubled his money there. But I will bring Gunnar to the same town because he doesn't have resurrection yet. Okay, ideally I would have used stables and then Gorgons to retreat. That would be the best, but I don't have a green tent yet, unfortunately. Okay, I gave Elmore plus 10 attack in items. And plus 1 speed just to help. He's gonna have to do a couple of fights. So I want to help him a little bit. And Gunnar with resurrection, I move him here for the nice boost of for the next day. It's a pretty cool location, as you can see, and it was one of the things that actually made me think that orange is the best, probably. Like I mentioned that a second dungeon town has a nice neutral monster nearby to use, and also dungeon towns are useful because they have a mana vortex on their own, so kind of several ways orange is pretty nice. This brown player location can be exploited by blue as well, I think, but anyone else? Probably less so. I wish I had a different hero here instead of Sinka. Someone who has logistics as well. Ideally at expert level would be best. Maybe something, another opportunity to improve here. Not sure. Sinka will have to go to and take first Purple Town, so it's a pretty long way. She will use Tavern on her way. There is an open world Tavern, so she will get some help, but kind of not really sure it actually works out very well. So I would not be surprised that I could have saved a day here, possibly. So I said before that I actually did my best here, but as you can see, still there are some, at least, feasible opportunities for improvement. So I can at least see, like the first one when I talked about dragons, at least there is a reason why it could be questionable that to save one day, because the way I did it, I attacked dragons on day 1 with kind of a bunch of reinforcements, and attacking them on day 7 without reinforcements, at least 1 week reinforcements, could be a little bit more difficult. Also, you would have less time to build a bank to hire units, so kind of is straining a little bit. But I mean, here honestly you don't really sacrifice anything to do it one day faster. Although I'm not sure it actually saves me time. Maybe it makes later logistics a little bit easier, but purple tent will not be last. I clear, so maybe I don't know. Still doesn't mean that you cannot go like one day faster here. Maybe you can still also clear the white tent one day faster, who knows. Those minotaurs, I got baited pretty hard. Also built them in my hometown, could have never built them really, and obviously I shouldn't have built Medusas in second town as well. Kind of a bit of waste in terms of money. And I also, as already mentioned, I actually tried building up other towns to city halls, but I just didn't have money to do that. And also, like, it's just too little time actually in the end. When I made this decision about city halls, I actually did not realize how fast you can clear the continent. So it was a miscalculation cleared, and as you can see I have like 1000 gold left. Very fortunately, blue hero did not reach the bulwark town. Actually even forgot about this hero. So maybe a different hero could have reached this tavern on the previous day. Maybe. Like, I don't know. I think with at least boost of speed and logistics, most definitely. Also, who knows, maybe I could have hired a better hero here. So Rashka doesn't have pathfinding, and part of his way is through swamps here. Also kind of a mistake. wonder if this distance from Teal Necropolis to this rampart could have been covered in a single day with 2 fast heroes. That would be kind of actually interesting. It kind of actually looks like it could be, to be honest. And if you can cover this distance, you can imagine that you can then send another hero to this rampart, new town you take, and then advance from it further. So kind of actually a really crazy amount of land you can cover. So that's my defense against this blue Betty. Pulled out my wallet there. Ayden is not finished developing yet, so I need to get his at least magic skills to expert, and his water is basic yet. Death is boring, okay. Unfortunately did not find any clear ways to optimize Death's logistics there. Just look at this rocket. And I'll probably get him back to the same town, to the same watering place. Not bad, right? Okay, so there is one thing I need to do here, and that's rescue an Eagle Eye Specialist. Lorelei is on that. And once again I have just 1000 gold left. So that's a pretty strong hero, as you can see. And also, I was so upset when I saw that AI rolled Halon as its hero. Halon is a mysticism specialist, I think. Maybe not, but he has mysticism, that I know. And that means that there is no way I will be fighting him and he would have low mana. Like, for example, in my first playthrough, I met blue starting hero with Lorelei on her way to brown player around like during week 3 or so. And Theodorus, that was the hero, he was pretty strong, like I don't know, maybe spell power 8 or so, like similar stats I think, but probably like much worse attack and defense. And obviously it was week 3, so Lorelei did not have a very big army. She had, although, a pretty decent army. And it was pretty easy because Theodorus did not have mana. Very interesting that he actually decided to cast air shield and air protection from air, and now haste. So if he actually cast only damage spells, it might have been much worse for me. And now he also casts a magic arrow on my mammoth. So kind of actually, if you think about it, kind of stupid on many levels. Okay. There we go, got something from here, and also level 15 for Damakon. Now just one tree of knowledge, and he's good to go. Very nicely put magic well here. Now Dessa has all the tools he needs to deal with this green menace. So I don't want to let basilisks go. Where they stand right now, they actually block way out for others. Although, as you can see, I did not block them. I could have blocked them actually with Harpies and Evil Eyes. Very nasty arrows, as you can see. Finished off 3 different units. Injured units, that is. Only have 3 resurrections left. Obviously Pit Lords and Harpies needs to be restored. They will be... Harpies, I need Harpies for the late game anyway. And both of these, I would need them for the fight against garrison. Okay, pretty good. And that's also a decent experience. No tactics. That is absolutely clear. Dessa does not need tactics. So I think last skill will be learning, actually. I confuse it with intelligence, I think, when I said that Dessa might have missed it. I wanted intelligence for Dessa for the same reason as I did for Gunnar. So for those near infinite turns in the late game. Although honestly it's not kind of that important there. You can get away with like smaller mana pool. Beatrice, okay. Beatrice is here. Pretty nice place here, and this Ifrit works very hard, as you can see. It gives me maximum speed there. Initially I wanted to build Thunderbirds there, but I don't have money even to build a fort, not to mention birds, and then upgrade them. That would be very expensive. So that's our Eagle Eye Specialist. Also a great hero, actually. Has expert logistics and pathfinding, and also has boots, I think, which is a very rare artifact actually here. So he has a quest, and that's where I intend to send him. And I sent him to my second town before that to get him learn some spells. And he's gonna have these troglodytes to fight against Black Knights. Definitely don't want to be spending money to hire anything there just for this fight. And the last reward is probably the most important here, a lot of gold. I will need this gold when I get to Nautilus. But will I be able to keep it? So far I was unable to build any bank. Gunnar needs to reach Swan Lake, Swan Pond. There. Okay. And since he has just a Quattle, it's not very unlikely that Rampart town, the main purple town, is not gonna be heavily guarded. So, one bad thing about Bulwark is that it doesn't have fast units really. Kind of except for the Jotuns, whom I need anyway, not just to make my heroes a little bit faster, and I don't have any, regardless of that. Like, the fastest unit is a gold. If upgraded, that's speed 8. That's kind of actually pretty pathetic. Dessa prepares for the fight next day. Fight with the garrison, that's gonna be in the next part. And it's a pretty good fight actually. Kind of another demonstration of how you kind of separate the battlefield in these garrisons. So kind of demonstrates how you want to take out garrison units one by one. Worked out pretty nicely there, and I don't have satyrs in this army, so it kind of is lacking in damage, in burst damage, to take out satyrs there. So I think I got 75,000 from the quest with Geon, and now I'm at 60,000 already. So it looks like I won't be able to maintain that much money. Okay, just a final level up for Damakon so that he can enter Bloodbath from the Nautilus. Okay. Looks like we are about to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. I hope you find it interesting, and please share your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.